Morning, mate.
We fueled up at Alexandra under a stunning blue sky, and it wasn't far to Clyde, and already dozens of bike riders were getting their hit of coffee ready for the attack on the abundance of bicycle tracks that abound in the area. As I crossed the bridge spanning Lake Dunstan, I could see the Clyde Dam that so dramatically changed this whole area forever. After a few tricky turns getting to the gate at the foothills, not far from the bridge, our plans turned to custard.
This actually takes you over the start of the Nevis.
Oh, it's a pain in the ass, isn't it?
Oh, that's a disappointment.
I assumed Mike was trying to get onto Hawkeston Road leading across to Nevis Road. It didn't matter really, because now we could check out the Clyde Dam. What was once the mighty Clutha River is now called Lake Roxburgh below the dam and Lake Dunstan upstream of the dam. It was New Zealand's biggest political hot potato, and two governments had a crack at it from 1973, when the Clutha Valley Development Commission was set up, until when it was commissioned in 1994, 21 years later. Lake Dunstan is a boatie's nirvana. If you live in the area, you're well catered for. Lake Dunstan continues 20 kilometres to Cromwell, then another 16 kilometres further on. Depending on how you look at it, being locked out of the shortcut to the Nevis Road can be an inconvenience, but I don't mind because there's lots to see. But I've got to be careful, because if I make the video too long, nobody will watch it. We've got to circle around to the other side of Cromwell to Bannockburn so we can get to the start of the Nevis Road.
Hey, good morning. Day 12, Monday the 20th. Mike and I are just about to go up that road up there, the iconic Nevis Road, and it comes out at Garston. Is that right, Mike? And we've only just come through Cromwell and Bannockburn. So looking good for the day. The weather's stunning, and so was Bannockburn. It was a unique charm getting here, wasn't there? It's just, but once again we didn't stop and get some fruit. So it will happen one day, probably when I get back to Napier. little bit about tyres. I've got an Anarchy Wild on here. It's fairly aggressive, and I would say it's more than half worn. If it gets us through the South Island trip, we'll be pretty lucky, but we expect that. So, you know, when you've got a total of over 500 pound on a bike, you don't want to be screwing your ass out of it. You don't want to have to be changing a tyre halfway through your journey. So it is a bit frustrating at times. You just like to open the throttle and give it rings, but it doesn't work. You know, Birchie and his gear, he'd get about 1200 out of that tyre the way he rides. Well, I just can't afford to do that. I'm just a mortal, a mere mortal. But now and then, I love to give it a squirt and have the back hanging out. Yeah, oh god, these guys get up there. Wow. Yeah, lots to see on this ride. How's it going?
The high point on the far horizon 22 kilometres away is the Micro Tower and Obelisk on the Old Man Range we rode up to yesterday. "17 kilometres away on the far horizon is a well-known peak called Ben Nevis. Ben Nevis is part of the Remarkables that tower above Queenstown on Lake Wakatipu. From Bannockburn to Garston is 65 kilometres, and because there's so much going on and so much to see, the ride seems longer because we've only done 22 kilometres since Bannockburn.
You know, it doesn't look big, but climbing it, riding over it, it's huge. It's just so big and there's so much of it.
The shade by the big hedge looked mighty inviting because it was close to 30 degrees and it was an opportunity to enjoy a snack and check out the museum.
Oh mate, oh thank you.
Where's the middle of the road?
Where the hell did you find them?
In the middle of the road, just on the way down the hill.
Boy, that was tinny. I must have placed them on the tank while putting on my helmet and rode off. They were only $10 jobs from the warehouse anyway. I've got to be honest, after that incident crossing the ford on the Parika track on day 3, the speedo showed me doing 18 kilometres per hour when the front wheel whipped out from underneath me. I'm embarrassed to say I've lost my confidence. to the museum. The Wide Valley continues for another 7 kilometres with half a dozen fords. Then the valley closes in and an interesting gorge climbs for about 4 kilometres, then drops down for 3 to 4 kilometres where the valley opens up again for another 12 kilometres with heaps more fords. All in all, there are about 16 fords. When you consider how large the Nevis River headwaters catchment is, I'm surprised the river isn't much bigger.
Every time we come up, we come over and sleep with you too. It's just so quiet.
Yeah. Oh, I love the peace and quiet. Yeah, away you go, guys. Have a good run. Bike.
We'll just put the U-Park together in there.
So Wow, what a skyline! My word! Views. They take my breath away. Oh, home sweet home. Look at that. Oh yeah. Shelter from a storm. Boy, I bet there's many a person thankful this was here. Wonder who surprised the firewood.
Mike didn't hang around because he had organised a COVID test in Queenstown. He was a bit worried. We've arranged to meet at Nicholas Station at Lake Wakatipu tomorrow morning before crossing back over to Queenstown on a catamaran ferry. Right now, I've got 115 kilometres to reach my destination at the Mavora Lakes, where I'll camp for the night.
$5.16. Right.
If you want to know what the ride to Mavora Lakes is like, check out episode 14, which I did in 2021. The next episode, we load our bikes onto a catamaran at Mount Nicholas Station and cross Lake Wakatipu to Queenstown. Then ride back to Lake Manapuri so we can ride the Borland Road next day deep into Fiordland's South Arm at Lake Manapuri.